Hi, everybody. So this may be my last recording about my mother's descent into dementia. Today is Tuesday, November 30th, and my mom actually died 2 days ago. So it was sort of an eventful week. Beginning on Monday of this week, I got an email at 11 o'clock in the morning from her memory care unit saying that they were open after COVID, that they'd met enough of the criteria that they could reopen for visitors. So I talked with the people I work with, and I talked with my husband, and I said, I'm just going to go up because they may close down again in a few minutes or a day. So I just got in my car and I drove. It's a couple hours to where she was. And I went and I visited her. And the first thing I got there, they brought her into the club room because I couldn't meet with her in her room because she has a roommate and they had enough COVID restrictions that you had to be in a more public area. So I met in the club room and she sat down and I think she recognized me, but I asked her how she was doing and how she liked Canyon Creek. And she said, well, it's my first day here. And I said, okay. I said, pretty good so far. And she said, yeah. And then she told me that she was in alcohol rehab and that there were a lot of people there who were very old. But then she said, well, but maybe I'm getting up there too. So that was okay. And then she said that the people were joking about alcohol, that nobody was really taking it very seriously. So we discussed that for a little bit. And then she wanted my phone number and I wrote it down for her. And she asked me, she calls me, I have a nickname that she called me when I was little, which is Ozzy. So she wanted Ozzy's phone number. So at this point, I realized that she really didn't necessarily know that I was Ozzy, but that she wanted to talk to that person. So I wrote the phone number down and she says, well, I've had this number before and it hasn't worked. And I said, well, maybe somebody here could help you. And she said, okay, well, now that you've written it down, let me walk you to the door. And I said, so are you ready to go back to your room? And she said, yes. So, I got the nurse, and in the meantime, while we were waiting for the nurse to come walk her back, because once again I couldn't because of COVID. While we were waiting for the nurse, she said, there used to be singers here sometimes. And I said, oh, would you like to hear some music? And she said, I'd like to hear Danny Boy. So I said, all right, that'll be great. So I put Danny Boy on my phone. It was just a video from Celtic Woman. And she listened to it with me and she said, isn't that just lovely? And I said, it really is. So I started to ask her if she wanted to hear Amazing Grace, but the nurse was there. So I just gave her a hug and said goodbye and left. Well, Canyon Creek called me that night and she fell and hit her head and she bled profusely. So they took her to the emergency room at the hospital. And then she came back. She didn't have to spend the night or be admitted to the hospital. She came back. And then on Thursday, which was Thanksgiving, she fell again. And this time she had quite a big knot on the back of her head. And the doctor at the hospital and the doctor at Canyon Creek decided that it would be appropriate to take her off of blood thinners, which she has for her heart. But she was just falling too much. And as a fall risk, every time she fell, she would just bleed profusely. And so they decided to remove the blood thinners. So then on Saturday, I was up in Billings, up in the town where my mom was, with my two youngest sons and my two grandsons. So we stopped by to see mom, and she was not verbal at all. She was not talking. She was just very tired, sleeping in her chair. And the nurse came and talked to me and said, I don't know what happened. She said, your mom was really good at breakfast. She ate a good breakfast. She was conversational. And then she's just wanted to sleep ever since. So we all had a chance to visit with her. And except for the little boys. The little boys couldn't go in because they were too young, but they waited out in the lobby. And we just had one or two people go in at the same time. So, but all four of us, Rachel, Ben, Mike, and I all got to see her and visit with her. And then the next morning, Sunday, I got a call and the nurse said, she's not doing well at all. Has death rattles. Her breathing indicates that her time will be short. And I said, okay, I can be there in 2.5 hours. And they said that would be great. And I said, I just want to make sure I'm with her when she passes. And they were open to that. So my husband said, I'll come with you. And so he drove me to Billings, and we went in, and she was just laying in bed. Her body temperature was very cold. Her breathing was very labored. And a little while after we got there about 9 o'clock in the morning. A little while after we got there, the nurse had ordered morphine to calm her down so that she wouldn't be so panicky with the terrible breathing. And she gave her morphine under the tongue and kissed her forehead. It's just the sweetest person in the world, taking care of my mom. And the staff brought us food, and they brought us coffee, and let us just spend the time with my mom. And she had another dose of morphine, noticeably calmed down. And then we just talked to her. We just did things, talked to her. And then at the end, I thought, oh, I should have just played some music. So I played Danny Boy again, and I played Amazing Grace. And when I played those songs, my mom was turned away from where I put the phone, where the music was coming from, and she turned toward the music. And I think that was probably the last deliberate movement that she made. And her breathing just slowed down, and she quit breathing, and she passed away. So it was very peaceful. She got to pass away in a comfortable bed with her family and some beautiful music. And so all in all, it was a very peaceful and desirable passing. So I take a lot of comfort in that. The staff was really great to her. They were great to me and to my husband and to my family. So the journey for my mom is over. She wanted to be cremated. I had written her obituary for her earlier this summer. She approved of it. So I published the obituary, and she's been cremated. And this summer, we'll take her back to our hometown and have her ashes interred in the plot that she has, the cemetery plot, which is next to my dad's. And I'll have a memorial service at that time. So anyway, that's it. The journey is done for my mom. And if anything else comes up that I think is notable, I will record another Shadowlands, but I think this is probably it. So best of luck. I hope everyone's journey is pleasant. I hope everybody gets to die peacefully in their bed with their family with them, listening to some beautiful music. Bye.